Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Quarbit, and I'll be your host today for Europa Universalis 4. Welcome back to the 17th part of our Identity Crisis campaign, where last episode we played as Britain, and we invaded Spain here for the rightful British clay of Gibraltar. If you're enjoying the series so far, and you have yet to subscribe, then of course I would encourage you to do so, and leaving a like on this video would be a massive help. With all that out of the way, let's see which nation we get next. And we'll get Pacifico Norte. Well, this is a little bit awkward here, but in theory we should be able to declare our own wars, which means if we are stable and I have the ability to expand, then I'll be claiming all of this land for ourselves, and hopefully we can try to make ourselves powerful enough to increase our liberty desire from Spain. Let's start off by checking out our situation though. Obviously, we're a colony of Spain and we don't have much to our name here. Our income is very humble, and to make all of that worse, the problem is that we have our home node in California, which is a starting node, and means we're not going to have any chance to make any good trade here. We're basically going to have to fight over getting some good trade centers and stuff like that. Our army is also very, very small. We're going to have to change that immediately, and we have 4 loans for some reason. Now, the goal with colonial nations is of course to make ourselves very tall and try to expand as much as possible. That way we might be, likely to declare our independence from Spain down the line, but we'll see. Anyway, no reason to delay, let's get started. So we can go ahead and grab this Diplo tech here. I would like to grab this admin tech for the development efficiency as well. Our ships are not that great. I'm going to send all of them out to protect trade here. Our army is also rather small, so I'm going to be working on improving that. I have a bunch of free merchants. I don't think I'll be able to get much money, but I'll literally send them anywhere because literally anywhere is better than here. I may as well collect something. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to want to keep re-electing our guy here because he's young enough. You know what? Our total dev isn't even actually that bad. I mean, it could be a lot worse for having like 10 provinces. Okay, and I think we're going to want to take Napoleonic Warfare, because literally any number of artillery above 5 would give us a bonus with that, so instead of protecting trade, it might actually be within our interest to just privateer something. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about our ideas, right, so we have expansion, plutocratic, economic, quality, maritime, trade, and administrative, which is interesting. And this is one of the very few times where expansion is worth keeping just because the colonists are actually helping to improve our dev quite a lot more than you'd think. I think the only thing I actually disagree with right now is administrative because we won't be coring that much, so I think instead I would prefer to take quantity. I'll probably start focusing on our military here as well as taking discipline. If we have more men, then we can have a higher liberty desire against Spain, and we can also have a larger force limit to invade the other colonies. Okay, let's see how much I can make off of privateering this node. Okay, you know what? That is impressive. That's significantly better than protecting our own trade. Okay, if we use the ships to privateer, then we should be able to fund our expansion into Dutch Alaska here. Okay, now with a bunch of money, I think we can fund the expansion of our army to include a little bit of artillery here. I think 6 artillery will be good enough. So the army has been expanded to include 24,000 men. At this rate, that is a degree higher than those that the colony of Dutch Alaska has. Well, here's the hope and it all goes well. Okay, now that he's distracted resieging his land, I'm going to go after his capital. Really unlucky siege here, all the way up to 78. Finally, we grabbed it. Okay, we're gonna keep this guy. This is gonna be one of the most unfortunate wars I've ever been in. Takes me 7 months to siege his capital, then he gets it back in like 20 days, and then I have to go get it back, which takes another 3 months, and then he takes my capital in 1 month. It doesn't really get much worse than that. Okay, let's finally take what I need. Now, I can't go for full annexation, but of course, this isn't even connected by a strait for whatever reason, so he can keep that. The rest I'll take in cash. Alright, whew, that was painful. Now let's consolidate the army and figure out what to do next. I can also repay a couple of loans, which is great. On the bright side, we are industrializing pretty well, so I think we'll be able to accept this by the end of these 4 years. Just need to make sure I get all this cored up, and we should be good to go. And we can grab this next Miltech as well. If I can, I would also like to wage a war against Dutch Louisiana or French Canada, but I don't know if we'd have time for that. The goal is of course to get as much liberty desire as possible, but I also don't want the AI to just, die while doing it. On second thought, Dutch Louisiana has 56,000 men, so I don't think that's going to be a very good idea, but I might take a little bit of land from French Canada here. Okay, well now our army size is 30k, and I can get myself a little claim against French Canada. I may as well just go over and pay them a little bit of a visit. Okay, this should be a fast one. Okay, doesn't cost that much war score, and it'll take a little while, but I'll eventually be able to core it. I just can't take all of this, so I'm just going to force war reps on him as well, and whatever else I can do. Okay, we only have the 1 year left, so I'm just going to repay the rest of our loans, bring the men together, and now we have nearly 500 dev, which is quite nice. And of course we'll keep this guy again. Alright, now that we're much larger, our liberty desire against Spain is up to 31%, which is much better than it was before. If we keep getting bigger, then at some point, eventually, once dreams of liberty exist, then we might want independence. Until then, though, it'll be up to this colony to simply sit here and not fall apart while he develops a little bit. And I'll just take this next idea there as well. Okay, I'm just going to finish up by making that revolt happen and getting rid of it. And that's pretty much all the time we have left on Pacifico Norte. Alright, I'd say that was a solid 10 years. We started off as a fractured Alaskan colony, united the region, and then pushed a little bit into Western Canada here. We also somewhat doubled our development, and I think if there's one last thing I could do, I guess I could just take out a couple of loans and embrace the institution. Because knowing the AI, they'd rather take this tech with the penalty before they take out loans to embrace it, so I may as well do it for them. Okay, well that's all the time we have on Pacifico Norte. Let's see which nation we get next. And we get British Louisiana. Why do I keep getting colonies? Okay, well, let's try and make the New World strong, I guess. On the bright side, we're already rather strong, so all we're gonna do is probably invade Dutch Louisiana or something. Preferably I also ruin my relationship with Britain and try to get independent, or at least agitate for liberty. Now these armies aren't bad, I just don't like the cavalry here, so I'm going to be getting rid of all of it. We also don't really need this much back row, but it's not bad to have it. I would much prefer to simply finish up this front row though. Well, I guess we should at least do a brief overview of the nation we're playing right now. So, we are a British colony of course, we have a decent governor which is young and will be improved over time. Our absolutism doesn't really matter that much. Our economy is actually rather quite good. I like how much we're making off of production, and I feel like there's more to be made off of trade here if we do it right. Yeah, the main goal is going to be invading Dutch Louisiana and taking this very important port here. I'm also just going to go ahead and scornfully insult Britain because I don't like them. It looks like we've taken consolidation of power, which I actually don't like to have. We get more max absolutism, but it's not like we're anywhere near the cap right now. And frequent elections allow you to get points faster before your ruler dies, so I think I'd like to swap that over to this. Same thing with the bureaucratic apparatus. We've basically just stated everything, so I'm probably just going to swap this over to the advisor costs. And then of course we're going to take another advisor. I'm also just going to fill this guy out to be an entire front row, and maybe a little bit more back row, but we'll see. I can also declare on French Louisiana, which is sort of a pushover, and I may as well. Alright, let's begin. This guy's been developing all of his couple of territories here, so this will actually end up being a very high production value area. There we go, France is at 100, so they'll accept any and every peace deal. In this case, I'll be taking this much. Ooh. And Transoxiana has finally gone revolutionary, and I have to say, I really like that flag. That flag is like ominous, I really like that. So that means that the aspirations for liberty, the dreams of liberty should come. I think it's going to be within our best interest to stack up a bunch of money here, and build a couple of buildings, and then at some point we will declare on Dutch Louisiana. There we go. Dreams of liberty, you know it. Plus 30% liberty desire. Oh, I'm excited for this. I think it would be interesting to ally up a little bit here. Soon enough, the colonies won't be friendly towards Britain because they'll be too, rebellious and such. And it's never a bad idea to make a couple of friends along the way. If this is going to work though, we're definitely going to need everyone on board, so once this war is over, and they're no longer fighting on the same side together, I hope we'll be able to ally the other colonies here, and of course we'll keep this guy. And we're going to finish up our quantity ideas here, which will increase our force limit. And I think I'll take this goods produced, I think I'll take this trade efficiency and steering, and I think I'll take this land force limit modifier as well. So now our army can be much larger than before. So let's make another army real quick. Alright, if we don't manage to finish this Pagaruyung war here, then we won't be able to declare our independence. In the meantime, what I can do is I can declare on the Dutch. At least I'll be doing something at that point. Okay, our final core is done. I think we're ready to declare war. He has 60,000 men, I have 100,000 men. Everything should go fine, I think. Alright, and that is a nice win. Alright, let's get rid of this stack there as well. And this guy can just split up a whole bunch. Okay, well that's mostly everything. And we can get a free stability. I don't think this war is really gonna end quickly, but hopefully the AI is intelligent enough to follow through with this whole thing. I mean, we have a very possible massive revolt we could do here if we get Mexico and the 13 colonies on our side. We already have, like, half of the South Americans on our side, like Peru and Argentina and Colombia. Alright, just gonna wipe that stack or something. We're at 99, so let's at least explore our options here. What's most interesting that I see here is that it gives us 0 overextension, and I kind of want to see if that's true. It's annoying how this is taking the literal full occupation of every single territory just to be able to full annex them. They're not even at low yet somehow, but whatever. So, let's give it a shot. Wow, it's true. We actually have literally 0 overextension. Huh. Okay. Now I'm a little bit perplexed. These guys have a bunch of liberty desire, but because they're friendly to Britain, they just don't want independence. Which is kind of weird. I'm guessing they have like a flat 200 opinion? No, they're actually just friendly for some reason. I'm friendly too, but I'm still willing to go at them for some independence. Oh, now this is interesting. So the Iroquois have declared war on Pacifico Norte now, which has actually brought all of us in. So they created a coalition against me, but I'm fighting them anyway, which is kind of interesting. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it. They have a massive disloyalty, but they're just friendly with Britain. I didn't know that was something you could do. Okay, well, I guess maybe at some point in the future they'll ally together and declare independence, because right now it wouldn't work. Yeah, what's interesting is even English Colombia is willing to ally me to get this independence, and same with Argentina. Even though their liberty desires are actually not high enough, they were still willing to ally me. But those who are very, independent seeking don't want to ally up to, fight Britain for some reason. And, oh, come on, really? Another war immediately? Really? Britain's really trying to keep us under wraps here. I'm wondering if we'll even have enough time to declare the war. At this point, it's not really feeling like it. Of course, we'll keep this guy for now. I'll take this next tech right now, I think, so that we can have some better artillery. There we go, that's most of the cores at least. Alright, yeah, I don't think we'll actually have enough time to declare the independence war. I really thought we might. That kinda sucks. Anyway, I'm sure at this point the AI will just declare it for me. But we only have a single month left, so let's say farewell for now to British Louisiana. So, I think that was a solid 10 years as well. We managed to clean up the remaining French colony up here. We took over the entirety of Dutch Louisiana, which was a pretty massive amount of dev. We cored up most of it, and most importantly, we also got a lot more of the trade here. Oh, there we go. Now we can ally British Mexico, sure. All we need left is the 13 colonies, and then we're basically just good to go. We can also take a look at the economic graph here and see that we, improved things pretty significantly. Starting in 1764, which might have been right around here-ish, and, well, now we're all the way up here. We'll also just accept Dutch because that's going to be a massive part of our culture for the rest of the game. Oh yeah, we also increased the army size pretty significantly. We could just, get rid of this template and make a proper template. Make it this, and then, of course, just make that comply, send this guy over there, and then, Once we get enough men, we can do that as well. So I'm thinking pretty soon British Louisiana is going to declare independence if they get the 13 colonies on their side. If not, they might still do it because we are allied with a significant portion of the colonies, such as Argentine, English Colombia, British Peru, British Mexico, and so on. So, you know, we might see a Kingdom of Louisiana coming up soon, but that's going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed playing a little bit of the, colony game here. I feel like there's a lot that colonial nations can often do, but the AI isn't developed enough to really think about it. For instance, a lot of the colonial land having 0% overextension allows you to take a ridiculous amount of it, but I don't think the AI realizes that. Anyway, for now, this is Quarbit signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. I'd like to take a second to thank all of the patrons we have for the month of February, starting with those we have in the General tier: Quiet Guy, Brennan Arsenault, Ben Greenhagen, Torvalved, and Dire Avenger. Those we have in the Prince tier: Snow Raven and Rockbox 2020. Those we have in the King tier: Chewy Shoot and Natsuki. In the Elector tier we have TFLJ Martis. And in the Conqueror of Worlds tier we have The Watcher. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you guys so much for choosing to financially support the channel. Really, I just can't thank you guys enough.